All right, we're live.
Oh man,
Just like that.
just like that it happened.
Like 1,000 voices cried out and suddenly silenced.
Right when I felt that there's a piece of quinoa in my teeth.
yeah.
It's gonna drive me crazy. I'll fix it before we do the actual show.
Yeah.
Hey everyone.
What's
We're
up?
This is not yet episode 35 of the Living Force podcast. I am not yet your host, Eric Eilerson. And I
Inappropriately
am not
named.
yet joined by Dr. Corey Helton.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here, but Charles isn't, so
So nothing's real yet.
we can't have a show.
Mm-mm.
But we figured we could jump on, hang out with you guys
Yeah.
for a little bit, get a little pre-show, pre-game going.
Right, see how we work. I got my dog Morden on the couch behind me. He's hanging out. He'll probably leave in a little bit. This is how we warm up. This is what we do.
Eric, kind soul, do you want to share the post into the Facebook group, or did you already do that?
I did not, but I can totally do that. Da-da-da-da. And then, do you want to do the Discord announcement?
Yep, I will do that.
And the Twitter, and then I'll do the Twitter.
Yeah, this is the stuff that I forgot to do beforehand.
We didn't do
Discord.
all the checklists.
I know. This stuff is actually not on my checklist because it's on Wes's checklist, but I need to add it to my checklist because
Yeah. Boom. All right. There's that, and then I will do Twitter. Can't see.
quick, Discord, come back.
Discord, come back. Come back. Come back. This tweet that Wes put out, or this outline with like live and living color. It's like, what's that movie that goes live and living color? Da 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 da. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea.
Live and living color.
That doesn't sound familiar at all. Not even in the slightest.
I don't even know what it could be.
Okay, wow, it pulled in. I guess Discord got fixed somehow. It pulled in the message to our chat, which is interesting.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Restream bot. What up,
Oh, and
Patrick?
it sent it to Living Force also, which I don't know how I feel about.
Whoa.
It's gonna be a lot of notifications.
Will be. All right.
I should turn that off.
Whoa. John Hovey and Lacey Gillerin from Resistance Broadcast are going to the premiere tonight.
Nice, good for them.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Congratulations, y'all. That's crazy. That's happening tonight too. Are you gonna watch any of the live stream stuff?
I don't know.
Not obviously not live. I feel like we'll probably be doing a show, but
I like watching live stream stuff. It makes me feel part of the action, just in general. That's one of the
Yeah,
reasons I wanted to do like our own stuff. That's why I'm so obsessed with live streaming because
right.
you just feel part of something. That's what it's all about.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's never any spoilers at the red carpet events, so
That's true. Yeah, and I like seeing the. I mean, honestly, everyone looks amazing. Everyone's looking like a 10.
Hmm.
Everyone's rocking out their best looks. Everyone's talking about how excited they are about the movie. I want to see Richard E. Grant. Like, I think he'll just be. He seems like he's having like the best time of anyone on this press tour right now. Like, he's just so happy to be in Star Wars and all that jazz.
I love it when people are excited.
Yeah. Oh,
It's fun to be passionate.
it is, man. I feel like I'm in the stage of the quiet calm before the hype storm. Like,
Hmm.
I know it's coming, but I'm not quite freaking out yet. But then I'm gonna walk in the theater and be like, "Oh God, it's real." And I think I'm gonna want to be like a little incognito because I am so afraid of any like asshole kid just running up to me and telling me a spoiler if they see me like too decked out in my stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
So I might just wear like a Rise of Skywalker T-shirt and like sit in the back.
Matt Davenport
like-
asked us if we are unplugging from social media between now and Thursday. You pretty much have already, haven't you?
A bit. Yeah, I've made it more difficult for myself to basically I on my phone I deleted my Twitter app and I every time I go on it in the browser I immediately log out of it again.
Mm-hmm.
So like I can check it, but I'm on it way less than I have been. I have muted a lot of accounts that are like good accounts but do a lot of like Star Wars news and up to the minute stuff. So I
Sure.
muted all that. I've muted the words spoilers, TROS spoilers. Like I've muted just a ton of words that I think people will hopefully use if they're being nice about stuff.
Right.
So my timeline has been pretty curated. I'm very interested after the movie when I go back and unmute all those accounts and stuff. Like, what is my actual Twitter gonna look like? Like, what have people actually been posting for the last month? You know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't I don't really use enough social media like outside of Reddit to really do much reading. Like Twitter is too kind of by the minute for me, I think. Like I just don't stay on top of news and stuff fast enough, I think, to really truly enjoy Twitter. So
Yeah, it's super quick.
yeah, it really is.
Especially since we like started doing stuff for Utini, like when the news drops, like having to be in the first couple minutes to be relevant and put together stuff and be part of the conversation, which can be exhilarating if you nail it,
Yeah,
and like very stressful if you don't.
that's right. That's right. Hello, Patrick. Hello, Adam. Good to see you guys. We, if you're just joining us, we are
Howdy, howdy.
kind of shooting the shit a little bit before Charles gets home. He's doing some
Doctoring intensely.
doctoring, some lady part doctoring. Is that PG enough? Can I say that?
Yeah, it's important. It's important doctrine.
Yep. He's still on gynecology rotation.
Yeah.
I took my step 3 of the USMLE board exam today,
Yeah, you did.
so I'm really exhausted.
That's
on.
it. Juliana's here.
What's up? What's up?
Hey, hey.
So I did get a nice, kind of pleasant surprise this morning, though, Eric, because I thought it was. We were playing Battlefront last night with some of my friends who joined our Discord, and then Emma was playing with us last night too. And I was talking about the test and everything. They asked me how long it was. It says like 9 hours. I fully expected it to be 9 hours. So I got to this morning. It was 7 hours instead of 9 hours. So I'm like,
Oh man, only a 7-hour test? What'd you do with all that free time?
I actually had 20 extra minutes. They give you have 45 minutes of breaks, and any extra time you have at the end of every hour block gets stacked on top of your breaks. And I had a total of 20 minutes left at the end.
Not bad. Not bad. I at my school today, I worked with some special ed kids, and their activity for the day was we went to this mall in Schaumburg, which is like a 45-minute drive. So we just went to this mall and walked around with them, and they like bought Christmas presents for their parents and stuff. Like they each had a certain amount of money they were given, and we just walked around a mall with them.
Mm-hmm.
That was my whole day.
Nice. That's pretty
That
fun.
was it. Yep, didn't lose anyone.
Not too bad.
Yep, everything seemed to go easily well. So that was not bad. And then I got home and I passed out for like half an hour just to like reset my clock for this show.
Yeah.
Cause I got a busy week. We got this tonight, and then gonna watch Last Jedi with Charlie long distance after that probably, and then a little plug tomorrow. My other podcast, Not Another Film Podcast, we're doing a Star Wars focused spectacular, which I pushed for in honor of the week. So basically, they're giving me like 5 to 10 minutes on each movie to just talk about it.
Nice.
And
That'll be
catch
fun,
people
man.
up. Yeah.
You'll have to share that in our Discord or something so we can all
Oh,
listen.
I will for sure. I'm very excited. And like last time when we did we've done shows on like Avengers Endgame and like all the big blockbusters. We'll like see it and then immediately go back to my buddy's house and record an episode like out of the movie theater. So we'll probably do that Thursday too. And then Wednesday, I got these advanced tickets, like in a drawing to go see an advanced screening of 1917, the new World War I movie. That's
Man,
coming out.
I am jacked for that movie.
Yeah, it looks awesome. So
Did you see that Peter Jackson documentary?
No, They Will Never Grow Old, right?
Yes, I've
Is that
seen
what
it
it's
like
called?
about 3 times now. I had the privilege of getting to see that in theaters, and man, that was incredible. You got to see
It
that,
seems
man.
amazing. Yeah, didn't they like fully colorize a bunch of footage
Yeah,
and oh,
like something like hundreds of hours of footage they restored, and
it's
it
incredible.
was really good. Yeah, it's really neat. It's a pretty surreal experience. So they got like people to voice act like parts in the film. So like what you see on screen has a voice that matches this. Obviously not the real voice because we didn't
Right.
record audio and the cameras were like barely a thing at this time. But they like matched accents of what like using journals and stuff of what people would
Yeah.
have been and
That's incredible.
it's freaking nuts, dude. It's really really good.
What cool filmmaking. Uh, yes, believe it or not, everyone, we do see films that aren't Star Wars on occasion, on the rare occasion. Also, hey Carl, welcome. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, I got a lot of movies I'm gonna try to see this winter break because I'm gonna go see my parents for like a week and a half, and I'm gonna want to leave the house a lot.
Yeah.
Because I love them, but uh, this part isn't getting recorded for the podcast, so that's fine. Uh, but I'm gonna try to use my AMC A list and see as many movies as I can. Like we got a lot of cool stuff coming out between now and the Oscars, so I'm gonna try to catch everything. Mm-mm.
Yeah. So Patrick actually is the one that told me about the this A list thing. Patrick, I appreciate that, man. I didn't even know that was a thing until recently. I think I'm gonna do it too. My closest theater is not quite as close as yours, Eric. I have a theater that it's in a mall, like right around the corner from my house, probably like 5 minutes from my house.
Mm-hmm.
But I have kind of mixed feelings about it as a theater. It's fine. I mean, it's a theater. Like, how nice does it have to be? Like, but like there's an AMC in Johnson City, which is about a 35-ish minute drive, I guess.
Oh, that's okay for a good movie theater. I think at least
Yeah.
growing up
So
invited.
and I think the perks would pay off enough. I think it'll actually pay for itself with Star Wars, honestly. Like
Oh yeah,
if I see Star Wars, like I'm committed to at least five, but if I see it more than that, like it will save money.
yeah. And the real kicker for me was that it doesn't upcharge for IMAX. Was like IMAX you can get three
Yes,
IMAX movies a week if you
and
want,
3D too. I
and
think.
3D, yeah,
Yeah,
and
basically
Dolby,
everything.
like
And Dolby,
anything,
all of it. Yeah. Carl, I'm drinking my favorite beer on the planet, Tropicalia. So some friends bring it to me from Athens. This is the beer that Thor drinks in game.
Every time, I love it.
I know, I love it.
Yep. I'm finishing off my iced tea just to hydrate, and then I got a good old fashioned PBR tall boy for when we start recording.
Oh man, a tall boy. Did you buy it from a gas station?
Well, not a tall. I guess it's not a tall boy. I don't know. Technically, it's a tall boy, right? It's just 16 ounces instead of 12.
Oh,
With the beer koozie of the Dallas Cowboys, who whooped some ass this weekend.
yeah. Apparently,
For all my fans.
I need to become a Cowboys fan. Apparently, because that's what BuzzFeed said.
That's right. Get on the train, man. It's a good time. The water's fine.
Yeah,
Oh.
man. This medicine just sucks the life out of me.
Speaking of that, I actually literally just got a text from my cousin who's in chemo right now. Speaking of medicine that just sucks the life out of you.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, if y'all got some positive vibes and stuff, my 22-year-old cousin's going through for some pretty intense chemo, so shoot them her way if you'd be so kind.
It's always hard.
Yeah, it sucks, but she's got her homemade quilt from her other grandma, and she's a tough one. So I'm gonna go see her on Sunday as well. So that'll be good.
Nice. Yeah, that'll be good. Man, chemo has really come a long ways in the last 20 years. We just cure disease, not like we have ever done in history. It's pretty wild.
It's pretty cool.
Hopefully she'll have a good outcome. Thinking about her.
Thanks, man. Also T13. How about them Cowboys? Indeed, best way to come into the chat.
That's right. That's right. T13. Who was T13? They revealed themselves in our Discord.
Oh my
this
gosh.
week. Who was it?
You did.
I can't remember who it was. T13. Who are you?
Remind us.
Who
We're
are
now, now we
you?
gotta wait for the lag in the chat to
I
pop
know.
up.
For real.
Oh man, Carl's drinking an OG Kush Hoppy Pale Ale. God, that isn't the most Oregon sounding beer. Sounds great though.
Dr. Pepper here now.
Dr. Pepper here for Patrick. Also good to get that caffeine buzz.
Nice. Maybe it was. Is it Ross? Was it Ross? Was it? No.
No, Ross is Rolando 91.
That's right, Rolando 91. T13. I can't remember who it was. Whoever you are, tell us after the 30-second delay that Eric and I get to experience. Timothy. Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, that's who it was.
That's right. I thought so.
What is that a reference to? They call me T13.
Oh, now we gotta wait more. Oh my God, Carl, you're very welcome. We are doing everything we can to help you guys get into the playoffs, and also beat the Rams. So happy to help. That 49ers loss was insane, though. It was seriously insane. Not expecting that to happen. The last 2 weeks are going to be insane. Oh, speaking of which, guys, last thing I'll say about the Cowboys for right now. Next Sunday at 4:30 Eastern time, 4:25, the Cowboys will be playing our biggest rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles. And if we win the division and go to the playoffs, period. That's it. And that will be happening, of course, in the middle of my family Christmas party.
Nice. Does that mean you don't have to go to your Christmas party?
No, it just means I got to shut up during it. Dr. Charles Henkel!
Hey, man. Can you come to clinic with me like that and just say that before
every time I should. Hey, you're here, so we're gonna record in a second. I'm gonna show you guys on video. I'm repping the pod today.
Nice.
Got my shirt on, so I'm talking so that can be seen by everybody.
Excellent. I love it.
Excellent.
Getting high on our own supply.
A Vader dog walking an AT-AT on a leash.
Fantastic.
T-shirt.
Classic. I'm wearing my X-Wing shirt, which I really like, kind of retro looking. I did wear I wore my Ray celebration shirt that I wore underneath my graduation robe to my test today, though.
Nice. Hey, it worked well for graduation.
For good luck, but I sweated up those pit stains. Let me tell you, man. I went to the bathroom close to the end of the test. I'm like, good God, this is rough, man. I must be nervous. Yeah,
man. Well, on that, let's get this Audacity rolling and start this show. We're warmed up now. At least Corey and I are. Charles, you're still gonna be rusty. It's okay though.
That's all right. I'm coming in hot.
Yeah, you are. Blah. All right.
Is everyone ready?
Ready to start Audacity whenever you are, man.
All right. Countdown. We'll go live. I mean, we're already live. We'll hit record in 3, 2, 1, and go.
All right. There we are. This is going to be cool. This is the first time we've ever done a show with like
things are working.
A literal warm-up, revving the engines.
That's right. Which is that was originally the intention a little bit, I think, with the stuff. We've not been smooth enough, honestly, but now we're finally at a place, I think, technologically where everything is kind of planned out. So, a few small things to iron out still, but other than that, I think we're good.
I think we're good, yeah. And I also think we are the hosts of the Living Force podcast. Welcome, everyone, officially to episode 35 of the Living Force. I am your host, Eric Eilerson, and with me are both of the doctors, Dr. Corey Helton. Hello, sir.
Hello.
And fresh off clinic, Dr. Charles Henkel. Hey, dude.
What's up, fellas?
How are you boys, this Monday evening, 72 hours before the rise of Skywalker?
I'm, my brain is a little fried, to be honest. I sat through 7 hours of step 3 of the United States medical licensing exam today, part 1 of 2. Ugh.
That was the original title for this episode, but it was a little too long.
Yes. It was painful.
It's a 2-part roundtable.
Charles, I have tips for you when you get there, buddy.
Yeah, I actually just scheduled mine out in April.
Okay,
so,
nice. Yeah. It's 7 hours, just so you know. I thought it was 8 or 9. It's 7, which is a nice little surprise I got this morning. So that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Man, so Charles,
I'm sorry you had to go through that, but you will report it at the end of this week with some great things.
Yes, that is correct. I thought about it multiple. No, concentrate. The answer is C.
It's always C. Dude, I was leaving the hospital today for my like morning rounds and going over to the clinic, and I had like the thought in my head that every step I took was one step closer to the rise of Skywalker, and I got
Bruh.
like so jazzed.
Oh my God, that's a cool little thought. Every word we speak is a word closer to celebration of the series.
It's nuts. Like I when the trailer for the new Battlefront content came out this morning and a bunch of us were watching it, I watched that and saw the new characters and saw like the new species and the new planet, and I was like, "Oh my God, in 3 days I'll know what all this is. I will understand. I'll know the species names. I'll know what the planet's importance is. Like nothing has ever been like this before. And I know we say that for every release, but it's still true.
I
You
know.
know, like
Everyone is unique in and of itself. Like there's always a certain build up to every movie, depending on what the movie is and the mood of the fandom and what else is going on in terms of TV shows or whatever else. Everyone is unique and is so much fun. And this one may be the most fun yet. And maybe I'm just saying that because it's the one we're experiencing right now. But it's
Yeah.
such like a Star Wars renaissance almost.
yeah,
That it's amazing.
I feel
exactly.
I feel so weird coming up to the film. Like it's not just I don't know how about you guys, but for me it's not just like crazy hype all the way. Like it's to me we've reached like a time in which it's like solemn and sacred and like I'm
Yes.
not just like go let's go see the movie. I'm like I'm in this weird phase of like nervous anticipation now. Where
hmm
like you're about to walk
I
into a test or something. You know what I mean?
yes, like because like the three of us are pretty much on the same page of not media blackout completely, but like we're good. We're not watching any more footage. We've basically seen what we're gonna see. And I'm at the point now where I'm a little afraid to even mention Star Wars in some places before the movie because I don't want a casual person to have seen a leak on Reddit or to like see a Yahoo article by someone and say, "Oh, you're a Star Wars guy. Didn't you hear how blah 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 is supposedly in the movie?" Because they won't know what that means to me.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I have made it
I know.
for 28 years
Yeah.
not spoiling this movie.
Yes.
Like I am not gonna. The last 3 days, I do not want to trip. But we are so stoked, and folks, that is the purpose of this episode. If you are live with us tonight, welcome. We love you all every single week. Thank you. If you are listening to this on Thursday on Patreon, you are getting jazzed for your showing tonight. And if you're listening to it on Friday, God, you're in the future.
Unless
You-
you're Adam in Australia, in which you get to
yeah. Then you've
watch
seen
the
it
whole.
4 times.
I know.
But if you're listening to it on Friday, you know of what we're talking about now, and you know how our excitement has been validated. But on this episode, we are not going to talk speculation. That's never been the type of show we are. We'll talk a little at the end, but we're not going to go like, what do you think is going to happen in the film? Hit some Sky Talkers, some What the Force for that kind of stuff. We're not going to go super in depth on every single little piece of footage Easter egg we've had so far. A lot of people like Star Wars Explained are really good at that. What we are going to do here is talk about the books and material that has come out this year related to the Rise of Skywalker that you might need to know about if you're seeing the movie. Or if you read it a little while back, we're going to refresh your memory. Because, guys, we read a lot of books in the year, and you can forget stuff. So we are going to sit back. We're going to have some drinks. We are going to revel in the love of the Rise of Skywalker and just shoot you some little reminders about what you might need to know before you go see the movie for the first time this week, because we know if you're listening to this show, it will not be a single viewing experience.
That's right.
So a couple questions before we start out. Corey and Charles,
Mm-hmm.
how many times did you see The Force Awakens? How many times did you see The Last Jedi? And how many times are you planning, do you think, or do you hope to see The Rise of Skywalker?
We're talking in theaters or ever?
In theaters. Oh, in theaters.
In theaters. So I saw The Force Awakens 7 times in theaters.
Jesus Christ.
I saw. Well, wait till Eric goes because he beat me. I think I saw. The Last Jedi 4, and I think I will probably see this one. Probably. Well, it depends on how much I love it, right? But I'm gonna say at least 3, and at most 8, just to beat my record.
All right, I like it.
Eric, you go.
I saw the Force Awakens 8 times in theaters.
Wow.
Originally I was gonna do it 7 times. I did 7 for 7, and then a buddy of mine is like, "Hey, have you ever seen like a 4D movie where the chairs move while you're watching it?" I said, "Nope, but I'm gonna." So that was my last viewing. It was also like a weird year for me. So like my one like solace in life was going to see that movie. I saw Last Jedi 6 times. So I want to hit double digits with Rise of Skywalker. I think it's bold. I think it might not happen, but I already have 3 tickets bought for the first weekend. And then with AMC, I mean, I have 1 ticket bought, and then AMC A-listed 2 additional showings.
What about?
And then I have to.
What about Rogue One and Solo? How many times did you guys see that?
I saw Rogue One. I think only 3 times, 2 or 3, and then Solo. I actually saw Solo like once and twice, a third, 5 times.
Wow.
And I think my 5 or 6 times, and I think it was 6 because my 6th time was like almost a year later at this movie theater on an island in Seattle where I met Carl actually at Whidbey Island, and the movie theater they had there got movies like 7 months later, so they just happened to be showing Solo. So I was like, oh, awesome. So yeah.
So
why were they there later? Were people like canoeing the movies out to this island?
It has to be. It was like a VHS copy that they had to walk over from the mainland.
That's funny. So the number of times that I've seen all the films is I've just realized this in answering this question is very reflective of the power of community, I think, because as I built this Utini thing, like it came out we launched Utini the week after The Last Jedi came out. I think if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure it was The Last Jedi. Because it was the last December film. And so I saw The Force Awakens. This is before Utini. I saw Force Awakens 3 times in theaters. I saw Rogue One, I think, 3 times in theaters. Solo, I saw 3, and then The Last Jedi, I saw 5 times in theaters, and then I saw. That's it. Yeah, no, I saw Solo more than 3. It was 4 at least. Yeah, so it was multiple times. So like as I've surrounded myself with Star Wars fans, like it's more fun to see movies over and over again. It didn't used to be that way, but it is.
Yep. Well, because now we're living in ACY, which is after the creation of Utini. They made BCY.
That's right.
The Dark Times.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
I don't know. What about you guys in the chat? How many times have you guys seen the movies? It'd be interesting to see.
But throw some numbers there. I'm interested.
See if anybody's beat Eric.
Beat 8.
Someone must have done double digits.
But honest question, Eric. Once you get to like 5, does it get a little tedious?
Tedious might be harsh, but it obviously like the magic of the first. I think the first 3 are your high points, right? Because the first time you're just kind of in awe of everything. The second time I actually get more emotional.
Second time is for processing.
Yep, exactly. Third time is like, okay, this is still a great movie. And then after that, it was comfort. It was like, I'm going to go hang out with my friends for like 2.5 hours because that's how I feel about Finn, Poe, Rey, and them. Like, it's a friendship. It's a connection there. And also, I saw it with a bunch of different people, right? So, like, the first time, I'll see it with some friends, but it's really for me. Like, selfishly, it's for my viewing.
Mm-hmm.
The second time, I'll go solo by myself for that processing. And the third time, I'm going to see it with my mom. We've seen every single Star Wars movie together. She's waiting for me to get home to see it. So I'll see it with her. I'll see it with my girlfriend once. I'll see it with so then I become the ambassador for anyone who has not seen the movie. I'll go with you. I will give you an excuse to have a friend to go see Star Wars with,
Yeah.
So that's fun for me because then you kind of get to do that thing where, not in an annoying way, but you get to watch people watch Star Wars.
Yeah.
Which is always kind of fun.
It's
sometimes,
fun. I think I've had a lot of people that I work with say that they want to go see it with me at some point. So I think that'll probably be the case too.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Looking in the chat, we got Juliana says 0. She says 0 times there.
Juliana's in Panama though, so maybe
that's true, but it'll be a big one.
Maybe there's a story behind that.
Could be. Patrick is 5 and 5. Force Awakens, Last Jedi, very nice. And then Timothy is Force Awakens 8. That's my dude. Last Jedi 5. Saw it 3 times back to back on his birthday solo.
Wow,
Man,
that's
that's
crazy.
dedication.
Back to back. Was he just like, did he like pull his hoodie up and like just lay down in the folding seats and just
Yeah.
hide in there?
Hey, it's your
Apparently.
birthday. You do what you want to do.
Have you guys ever done that? Have you ever movie hopped?
Oh yeah. Well, only once
When
did
I
I say,
was,
oh
like,
yeah. I
13.
only did it once.
Yeah, I did too. One time when I was like 16 on a date. It was fun.
But we will next week's show, a little preview for everyone, is going to be all based around our experiences on the Rise of Skywalker. So we'll be telling you how many times we have seen it by the time we record that episode, and I'm sure it'll be very emotional. So before we get into the EU material that we want to cover, a couple quick updates as we always do. Utini itself, no specific site updates as we had other weeks, but I want to do a quick thank you. Because the past couple of weeks, I've been prowling around Reddit and like our Star Wars books, our Star Wars EU, our Star Wars canon, things like that. And it's in Facebook groups like Star Wars Book Nerds, stuff like that. And a lot of times people ask about what books to read or like about timelines and things like that. And we've been seeing a lot of folks just shout out Utini. And and we've checked in our Select channels, not people that work for us. So I just want to say thank you to, if you're a listener that's been doing that on Facebook, on Reddit, on Twitter, like that's so cool. You don't have to do that. And that's just you wanting to show people the site. And that means you actually think that it's serving the purpose that we created it for. So I just wanted to say thanks. That's really cool.
Yeah, totally. That was the first time that ever happened. I'll never forget it. I was browsing Reddit and somebody linked to our site and I was like, whoa, this is in the wild. I didn't do this. Nobody on our team did it. That was a really cool feeling. So,
yeah,
really appreciate that.
So thank you all so much. And another cool thing, if you are in our Discord channel, as everyone watching live now, I believe is, and if you're listening, you may be, we started a new thing, the Introductions channel. And that's been one of the greatest things about my week, because this channel is basically a place for everyone in the Utini community to introduce themselves, tell how you came to Star Wars, how you found Utini, what you love about the EU. And it's been so many stories of people rekindling their love for Star Wars in the last few years. And it's been so heartening to see how we've all kind of picked ourselves up and found each other and found friends that, hey, you love these books as much as I do specifically. You know, I don't have to read in shame on the train anymore because I know I can jump into Discord and there's 30 people that have read that book.
Yeah.
And that's been just it got really emotional, honestly, for me.
Yeah, it did me too. I wrote a really long post myself, not really about like my introduction to Star Wars, but really just what Star Wars means to me. And it's been a really fun channel. I mean, if you're not already in our Discord, you should get in there. If you're a new listener, you've never heard of this, you can go to utini.com/Discord to jump into our Discord, which is essentially a chat software similar to Slack, or Facebook in some ways. Really less posts. There's different channels for various things you can talk about, and we have a pretty active community over there. You can install it on your phone like an app and get notifications. And I advise you to join the Discord and go mute all the channels that you don't care about. Otherwise, you will get hundreds and hundreds of updates every day. But it's pretty fun to get in there. It seems like most of our community is pretty active in only a few channels, which is cool because you have people that are really into Star Wars video games who are really active in those channels, people that are super into the books that are really active in those channels. So it's a lot of fun, and I highly encourage you to come on over and get you some new Star Wars friends in Discord. We've really had a blast with it lately.
Absolutely. A couple other things from the good old site. We got some book reviews. We got the master himself. They call me T13, a.k.a. Timothy, dropping a couple more reviews this week. There were 2 specifically on the novelizations of both The Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. For The Phantom Menace, he says he loved the film Phantom Menace, but then toxic fandom kind of stopped him from liking the prequels. Happened to a lot of us, right? It becomes not cool anymore. But then he read this novelization and it kind of redeemed the whole film in his eyes, right? Gave it 4 stars and said, at the end of the day, reading this should only improve your feelings towards the film. But I think that's kind of the key thing about these novelizations, right, guys?
Yeah, totally. They should expand on it in some ways and make you look at the movie from new angles, which is the whole purpose of the expanded universe, I think.
Yeah,
Precisely.
and that novelization in particular was really good, and we have a whole episode on it. Whenever we were talking about the anniversary for the Phantom Menace, we recorded a whole episode about the movie, and we talked a lot about the novelization. So go listen to that if you haven't heard that.
Yeah. Additionally, for the Attack of the Clones novelization, he also gives that 4 stars and shouts out author R.A. Salvatore, who you may know from his awesome fantasy novels. He wrote Attack of the Clones. He says he captures the essence of the awkwardness in the film, but allows the narrative to continue. So he fixes some of the pacing issues of the film and allows for the film itself to make a little more sense. So if you
It's a
like
great
the themes,
cover too.
it's a gorgeous cover. So if you like the ideas behind Attack of the Clones, but the film might not be your favorite, definitely hop on that novelization and then put your own review on that Utini page. Lastly, we got Rob N., who reviewed the Knights of the Old Republic Omnibus Volume 1, those comics. Says easily the best collection of Star Wars comics I've yet read, and probably one of the best comic collections of any kind I've read all year. 5 stars.
Ooh.
Did you guys read the KOTOR comics?
I have never read the KOTOR comics. I'm like the KOTOR guy too, usually. So,
yeah, you love like all that stuff, like the planet, the 4th one that you like so much.
Telos.
Maybe maybe you did read those comics, Corey, but you just lost your memory of reading those comics. But after going on an adventure, you may remember what happened in those comics.
Nailed it.
I see what you did there.
So if you like any of those comics, feel free to head over to utini.com, look them up, leave your own review. And if you're looking to pick those up on those book profiles with those reviews, we got some Amazon links where you can pick those up and help us out on the show. Last few things for Utini news. We have a couple episodes up for you patrons, including a couple episodes of Bounty Hunt that have gone up lately. Latest episode has not been edited and uploaded yet, but it is coming. That'll be on episode 6. And a quick reminder to you all, if you are listening to this podcast on Thursday or Friday, episode 7 of The Mandalorian already released. It is coming out on Wednesday, the 18th, and we'll have a little bit of preview for The Rise of Skywalker. So be sure to tune into our bounty hunts, which we will find time to record in the midst of all this crazy Rise of Skywalker madness. And today, I believe, this morning, we released an episode of Legends Look Back, all about Rogue Squadron, the first X-Wing book. Jared and Freddie doved into that book, and all the delved so much better. Delved into that book and all the adventures of Corin Horn, MVP of this podcast. So as soon as you're done listening to us, if you are on Patreon at the $5 level or above for the Guardians of the Wills, you have unlocked those shows. Go ahead and listen to those. I thought that episode was really good. I listened to it on the way to work this morning, actually.
Yeah,
So,
I have not listened to it yet, but I'm stoked to hear it because I'm a huge fan of that series.
Yeah, me either. I can't wait. It's a fun way to dive into Legends that we've not really had time to do on our own show. So I'm really glad that Jared and Freddie have taken the time to put that together. They've really done a great job, and it fits very nicely into our sort of plethora of content at this point. So if you're not already a patron subscriber, go check it out.
yeah.
Who's the protagonist of the X-Wing series again? I'm blanking.
It's not Wedge. It's
No.
he's a cop. He's Corin Horn.
Corin Horn is a big old bitch, is what he is.
There it is. There's the T-shirt for celebration next year.
That's right.
All right. So, and also, if you are a patron, periodically, Jared will be asking for your input on what books to do in Legends Look Back. So if you have some favorites, be sure to tune into our Discord and our Patreon for that. I believe next, coming up in a couple weeks, is the First Republic Commando book. So if you haven't read that in a while, hop on that, and you can get ready for Legends Look Back.
Yeah, so we've been one more thing I'll say about Legends Look Back is we've been talking a lot behind the scenes about how to pace the show and what to actually do the show on and stuff, and we have some pretty cool ideas about how to involve you guys, the community, in that show a little bit if you want to be. We're gonna essentially put together kind of a calendar of some kind, like, so you can kind of see what's coming up in the next month or two. And Jared has developed a pretty cool sort of cycle, a way to sort of cycle books of kind of between different eras and things like that. So it keeps it fresh and interesting all the time. And so we don't just have like a, 5 months of the Legacy series, podcast, because we don't really want to do that. We want you guys to be able to,
unless that's what you want.
yeah, I mean, if that's what you want. I mean, Legacy is great. So like we're going to try to do some sort of round, like round robin cycle of different books and stuff, which we can announce a little bit later. So know that's coming, and we will be here back with that soon.
No question. All right. With that, we are going to take a little bit of an early break. When we come back, we're going to go through some of our favorite materials that came out in 2019 that are going to prep you for the Rise of Skywalker. If you are watching live, we'll be back in just a couple minutes. If you are listening, enjoy this Utini break. See you soon.
We're already live. We're here.
Yeah,
It's too late.
We're live. We're here.
Wes is here. Wes, say hello.
Hi. Who's excited? Me.
Wes,
Oh man, now we're gonna have a bigger chat presence because
I know.
Wes rocks that out.
that's right. You got your tickets and everything lined up, Wes?
Oh yeah. I bought tickets for the 6 p.m. show that I got a haul ass home for. And then I got tickets for the 10:30 show.
Oh wow.
So we're doing a double dose.
Twice on the first night. Damn, dude.
Yeah, dude. Buy
awesome.
one popcorn bucket and you get it filled like 3 times.
That's amazing.
That's the goal. That's what you want.
You're not gonna poop for like a week.
Oh, that's fine.
It'll be worth
We
it.
sacrifice what we have to do for
Star Wars induced constipation.
All right. On that note, you guys ready to come back?
Yeah.
All right. So for the audio, Matt, hey buddy. You're lovely and awesome in everything you do, and I'm going to bring us back here in just a second. And we have returned to the Living Force Podcast, episode 35, The Rise of Skywalker in the EU. That was a great break. I'm assuming it talked about Audible, so that was very helpful for us. That's all I got. Wow. All right, moving on then. Leaving ample space for a plug from my co-hosts. And nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Not a thing.
I'm frankly disappointed, guys.
I mean, you shouldn't be.
But what I'm not disappointed about was the amount of content we got this year leading up to episode 9. Now, we know that we got the official Journey to the Rise of Skywalker line, which included Force Collector, Resistance Reborn, and the Marvel Allegiance comic. We're going to talk about some other things as well, though, because I think that there are some pieces of EU literature and comics that are going to tie into the film based on stuff that we've already heard and seen, that even if it didn't have that banner above. So let's jump right in, guys, with the first book that we got this year that is probably going to tie in a little bit to the film, which is Black Spire by Delilah Dawson. Right? So this was part of the Galaxy's Edge line of books, but I think it's important because it does take place eventually in the timeline that we might be looking at for The Rise of Skywalker, and with the inclusion of Batu, right? So the only question I really have about this book for you guys is, do you think we're going to see Batu at all?
I think we're going to see Batu named, but I don't think that we're actually going to see the planet itself.
Kind of like in Solo when L3 just dropped it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
Black
we're gonna.
Spire?
I think we're gonna get it named. I don't think they'll shout out the character Vi. I don't think they'll do that. But
No, I don't think so.
I think they will mention Black Spire. I mean, yeah, Black Spire, maybe even Black Spire or Batu.
Charles, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I mean, they put way too much into Batu as a planet, and even Black Spire Outpost just as a specific part on it to not go back there. I mean, they're definitely going to go back there in the expanded universe one way or another, but I think we'll get a mention.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think that there might be a we haven't been this scared since Black Spire, or like a throwaway line.
Yeah.
Is possible. Or like grab the Batuans or whatever it is. I think there's definitely something there, because this new jungle planet, we don't know the name of necessarily. So
Why are they being so secretive about the name of the jungle
I
planet?
mean, it could be Batu. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're in the jungles of Batu. I don't know.
It could be. I don't know. It just seems like I understand that Star Wars is particular about spoilers, but do you guys think they're a little over the top with it?
No, I mean, I never think that for me, because I love the reveals so much that I don't mind if. I mean, I wouldn't have minded if we got a single teaser with like Rey's face and they're like December and that was all we got.
Yeah,
so
that's fair, I suppose.
But I can see how it gets frustrating sometimes. Where
It's just like they're not going to release the planet in Battlefront until
day of.
No, it's the 20th.
But that's the day of technically.
Is it?
That's the Friday.
Oh,
Well, yeah, that's for anyone that's not going. Yeah, on the night,
Thursday
evening
night
of the
time
night.
release.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you
most
know what you can do? Maybe you go and you play and you see the movie, and then if they should drop it at midnight, so then you can go home and play Battlefront.
That's true.
That'd be cool.
That'll be cool.
So that was the only thing in Black Spire. I think that we saw a little bit of the Resistance. So we'll see if we see the planet. Moving on to some official Journey to books, though, starting with Spark of the Resistance, the younger reader's novel, or middle grade novel, I suppose, by Justina Ireland, that we were pretty fond of. At least I was, with my review of it earlier. Couple things that were important in this book. Number one, I'm going to say, was the Rey character development. Now, if you didn't read this book, then you may have missed Rey's internal struggles, right? She was a little bit unsure about the Force. We saw her kind of having trouble, lifting rocks and doing some of the stuff she did in Last Jedi. What do you guys think about that? Do you think we're going to see more of that back and forth, or are we seeing like Rey the Jedi?
Well, now I did not read Spark of the Resistance, so my knowledge of it is basically based off of Wikipedia and Eric's Utini review. But I think we're going to see Rey mostly as a full-fledged Force wielder. I won't say Jedi because I don't know exactly where she's going to end up, but I don't think we're going to see her struggle with her powers. I think we're going to see her and Kylo Ren kind of at the peak of their powers, just head to head.
I like that idea.
I think we'll see some element of confidence, kind of the way that we saw Luke in Empire, right? Or I guess even we're at Return of the Jedi at this point, where he kind of comes in and he's super confident, and then Yoda dies, and he like he suddenly is alone, but Yoda's talking to him, and he says, "So I am a Jedi." So I think we're gonna kind of see that character turn in Rey in this film, like, but I don't think we're gonna come right out the gate with her like super confident that at least if the expanded universe is true. Now, like all the authors, Rebecca, we interviewed her. She said that they didn't let her read the script, but she did say that J.J. Abrams himself read her like outline and stuff and approved everything. So the way that she wrote the character is kind of like this, where she's sort of unsure of herself, unsure of what her role, what's her place in all this, right? Like,
right.
And like that was approved, so I can only assume that we're kind of see that confidence switch, I think, come on in the film. At least that's my imagination of what I think will probably happen.
I think you're right. I think you're definitely right about her attitude. I think when it comes to like her actual Force abilities, though, we're gonna see her like full-fledged abilities, because I don't think we're going to really have time for her to struggle lifting rocks like it sounds happened in Spark of the
Yeah. I
think we saw that. I think we saw that in The Last Jedi. I agree.
Yeah, in Spark of the Resistance, she kind of had this moment of realization of what the Force is and how its connection, like a little bit of that stuff she was having with Luke near the end. And I think based on the trailers, at least, we'll see Rey, maybe training at the top and having like some frustration where she can't master some stuff. But I agree, like especially with that duel with Kylo, it'll kick in. She's jumping over the TIE Whisperer. Like I have no feeling we'll see some really badass, awesome Rey. And if nothing else, too, I would really hate to give any fuel to the fire of people that like, see, Rey's not really that powerful, because I want those people to shut up forever.
Yeah.
So let's see her just be a total badass, shall we?
Well, then you have the other camp that's like, how is she this powerful? And you're just like, everyone shut up and just enjoy the movie.
Exactly. All right. Last thing I want to talk about in that movie was the fact that the Resistance still takes time to help people in that book, despite their struggles. Another reason I bring that up is because in that novel, despite the fact that they were still trying to regroup and didn't really know where to go, they got a distress call and still answered it, which I think is a very important part of the Resistance going forward and how they've gotten some of the allies they've gotten. So if you didn't read this book and you see that the Resistance has kind of grown exponentially since the end of episode 8, that's a little bit of why, right? They have still been helping people out. They've still been helping the unfortunate. They've still been going out to be selfless, despite the fact that they're already in great danger. And I think not only is that a great lesson for life as a whole, but it also explains maybe how some other people have joined the Resistance between movies. So just kind of keep that in mind as we're going forward. All right, on to the next piece of media that is important is the aforementioned Marvel Allegiance comic. This came out in a couple parts, written by Ethan Sachs, drawn by Luke Ross. And we liked this okay. I thought it was good. We didn't love it. I think, right? We all finished it though, right?
It didn't feel important.
Yep.
Yeah, I've read almost all of it. I think I have one more to pick up at my comic shop that I never got around to picking up, but it just didn't feel. It has that unfortunate flaw that I think a very large part of the canon expanded universe has had, is that they've been too tight-lipped about it. This is going back to me saying that they're just so obsessed with controlling everything. I think they're really scared after The Last Jedi. Like they got a lot of really bad publicity, so they've controlled the information very tightly. So, we have a comic series, Allegiance, that deals with the main characters, but isn't actually allowed to do anything with any substance, I think, which I think is really what held the comic back in a lot of ways. Now, it does do some good things for building the Resistance, for introducing some key characters that we think are probably going to be in the films, but like in general, I think it sort of missed the mark. Charles, did you read that one?
Yeah, I read it. And I mean, I kind of felt similarly. It was really nice to have all of those main characters actually in the comic and going on a mission all together. Like that felt very cool. But I think you're right in that it didn't necessarily progress the story that much. And I guess it couldn't, but it gives, again, those of us who are going in to see the Rise of Skywalker that have read all of these things, just a little bit more background knowledge, other things that we can appreciate if we do see characters from it. we can see the Mon Cal forces in the Resistance, and we can know how they got there. There are going to be people sitting in that theater that may have complaints like, where did all these people come from? And the answer is the expanded universe, and that's pretty cool for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that you nailed it, Charles. The two big things that I took away from this comic series was the Mon Cala ships. I mean, if you're sitting there being like, okay, how'd they get all the ships? Then you want to hate the movie, and too bad. Like that's your problem. But here's the answer if you need. And also, we met Aftab Akbar, Akbar's son. I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the film, and he might play a decently prominent role. By prominent, I mean he might have as much screen time as Akbar did, or Radis, or something like that. Like, you need your Mon Cala just sitting in the big ship giving orders. So
bring up a Hammerhead Corvette.
That's the one. That's what he'll say.
That was pretty good.
That was lovely. I like that quite a lot. So we got some Aftab in there. So if you haven't read that, the art's really good. Again, it's not the most crucial story, but it's a lot of fun if you like the Marvel Star Wars comics. And you're going to see how they got their ships. You're going to see also Leia kind of dealing with past allies. Like, Leia the Negotiator, Leia with the history of everything. And I think that's going to be crucial here as well, because at the end of Last Jedi, the big reveal was that, people didn't come when Leia called, right? But people still have to believe in Leia to an extent, which is one thing that we're going to get to with our next piece of media, which is not even arguably, which is demonstratively the biggest piece of pre-Rise of Skywalker content we've had. And guys, I've kind of just been, buying time till we got to this. This is Resistance Reborn by Rebecca Roanoris, which, man, if you like this book, welcome to the fold of the rest of us. And I'm glad, because we've been talking about this book quite a lot over the last month. We interviewed Rebecca. We had our 2-part roundtable. It was one of our top 5 books of the year. So we like it quite a bit, I'd say.
I'd say what we really didn't do with it, though, is sort of talk about it from the perspective of the upcoming film, and we
Exactly.
did a little bit with Friends of the Force. We did on there with Brad, but we didn't really talk about it ourselves as like pure plot points. So we should talk about like, this is what you need to know about this book if you haven't finished it, or if you're not going to finish it before Thursday.
Absolutely. So let's take some time to actually address it from the point of view of the movie now, right? If you want more info on the book itself and didn't get a chance to read it, go check out our roundtables where we go in depth on the big questions and the character arcs. But this right now is all about how it relates to episode 9. So first and foremost, let's talk about Poe Dameron in that book. Poe's character gets so much development in Resistance Reborn, guys.
Yeah,
like
he really does. Like, we talked a lot about how you don't really realize watching The Last Jedi that, like, Poe's mutiny on the Radis, it was the Radis, right?
the Redis.
Yeah. Poe's mutiny on the Radis, like, was sort of a failure as his character. I joked recently that basically the entire destruction of the Resistance is because of Poe. Because if he had followed orders and done what what's her face? Holdo wanted him to do.
The Vice Admiral.
The Vice Admiral, his commanding officer, by the way, complete breach of military code to do that. He sent off Finn and Rose on this crazy mission, and they failed, and that revealed to the First Order that the Resistance will be flying out on the little shuttles, right? So it is Poe's fault that the Resistance was almost destroyed. Single-handedly, Poe's fault. Like, that's a kind of a mind-blowing moment if you think about it. And he looks at that like a complete failure as a person, like he failed as a leader in his mutiny and his decision to disobey those orders. And all that is very well developed and explained in this book. And I think it's going to do wonders for his character coming into this new film.
So do you think are we going to see any of that in The Rise of Skywalker? Will we have time for that, for those people that don't read these books and just go from one movie to the next? Or are they just going to see a Poe 12 months later or whatever it is?
I think we'll probably see it kind of come out just with what the book is kind of already established. Like, the book is more about him figuring out what sort of leader he is. And I think we'll see him also the book takes place like immediately post The Last Jedi also. Yeah. So we have some time still.
Yeah, and I think we might get a scene of, when everything goes wrong and Poe has to lead, we might get a reference of, well, last time you let us, it destroyed our whole fleet. Or maybe he's like,
Mm.
maybe I'm not the one to lead, or, something like that in his leadership. But really in this book, what you need to know, as Corey was saying, if you didn't read it, Poe has gone through the stages of accepting what he did. He is now becoming more of a traditional leader. And at the end of it all, he is now respected more by the people of the Resistance and Leia herself. So it's a wonderfully great book for Poe. If you start reading now, I think you can finish it by the time the movie comes out. So be sure to do that. Next thing I want to talk about, which is definitely happening in this movie, is Black Squadron, guys. Snap Wexley, at least, is in this movie, guaranteed. And they have a lot to do in this book as well. There are also some relationships within that squadron you may not know of. Like, Snap is married, number one, which I think is pretty important. Do you guys think we're going to see other members of Black Squadron in this movie?
Yeah, I do. I think we'll at least hear like some people calling in over the comms or something like that from Black Squadron. I don't know if we'll actually see Black Squadron totally assembled, but we'll get more than Snap, more than just Snap. That's my guess.
You think we'll get like a a round robin call out where it's like Black 2 standing by? You think we'll get that?
So here's the thing. I think JJ, for all the crap people gave him in Force Awakens about being too close to the source material, I think he did a great job at honoring the tropes of the earlier movies, like when they did, leading into the strike. And I think the call out of the squadron is such a traditional thing that in the final movie of the Star Wars franchise, you gotta have the wings checking in, and I think that is the music is gonna swell. I think it's gonna be our like Avengers Endgame moment with the portals. Like, I think that's the place to do it. And maybe it's squadron by squadron. Maybe it's like Black Squadron standing by, Rogue Squadron standing by, Blue Squadron standing by, Ghost Squadron standing, like, and just going through everyone that's just getting ready for the final fight. That might be what I'm most looking forward to in the whole movie. If I'm as I'm saying it right now, I'm getting chills. Like, I think that is potentially the biggest crowd pleaser thing they could do. And I don't mean crowd pleaser in a negative way. I think people could often interpret it that way. But I think it'll make us very happy. And I do think that Black Squadron will play a part. I think that more than likely, I agree with you both. We're not going to get a ton of time with them, but they'll like be in the crowd. And over the years, people will make YouTube videos pointing out, oh, this is Shuralinda and this is just Pava and like all that kind of stuff. The actors may not know who they were playing, but we know. Next, maybe the biggest cameo in the movie, Wedge Antilles. Are we going to get him?
Really hard to say. The book left it in a place where it could very well go either way. He essentially was he doing like flying off into the sunset, more or less, right, guys?
Yeah, it was kind of like Wedge and Nora Wexley, his wife, Snap's mom, awesome pilot herself, both left and kind of said, well, when you need us, like, let us know, kind of. It felt like that. They were leaving for now, but I can definitely see them coming back in. The fact that Wedge survived the book, I think, is a big reason to bring him back.
I agree.
Because I do think I wouldn't have loved it, but they theoretically could have killed Wedge in that book if he wasn't coming back. I think that it would have been a character that people would have loved to see again, but if he's gonna die, you don't necessarily have to do it on screen because he hasn't been in the sequel trilogy. Does that make sense?
Well, here's a question. For the actual like picture of him that's on the cover of Resistance Reborn, where did they get that from? Do you think they just like computer generated that, or do you think they got a new picture of him for that specific purpose? Because if he did that, then I would think maybe he'd come back. And another thing to think about, this is Ewan McGregor's uncle, Dennis Lawson, and Ewan's come back into the Star Wars franchise. Maybe he convinced his uncle to come back as well.
That's totally possible.
Good question. Very good question.
I never even thought about that, about the costume, about the cover photo. That's a good point. Like, it looks like if you looked up pictures of Dennis Lawson, like, it looks like him. Like, it's a very honest resemblance. So I feel like they could have costumed him fully and taken a snapshot.
Yeah. I wouldn't count on it super hardcore though, just to be honest.
No, no. It'd be cool, but basically, you need to know that there's a possibility he comes back because he is alive. He and Nora both
Yep.
did survive the book. Another thing, General Rican was in this book. That guy's got to be about 80
Here,
something.
I found a picture of him online. This is General Rican. I put him on our live screen here. It's the guy from Empire.
Yeah.
You're a good fighter, Solo. I hate to lose you.
Yeah. Great. Awesome line delivery. That was 40 years ago. So,
Yes.
um,
Crazy.
I mean, maybe we get him. I doubt it.
I don't know. He looks like he's like 40 in that image, so I don't know. Really hard to say.
I don't know. I think they're going to have to be very careful with how many people they actually show on screen in this book. Because we got so
in the
many.
movie. In the
Or
book.
yeah, sorry, in the movie. That were in this book, because there's going to be the level of, we want to see all these intros, but we also are going to get new characters. We're going to get new planets, and it is at the end of the day still about the sequel trilogy characters. So
Yeah, and that's like part of the point of the expanded universe too. You know, like these are the kind of things that we're allowed to enjoy in the ancillary material that they just don't have time to cover in the movies.
Yeah,
Mhm.
totally.
Exactly. And then speaking of all these allies, possibly the most important, I don't know, development, I guess you could say, from Resistance Reborn is the list of allies. Literally, the physical list of Resistance allies that was found at the end of the book, that could open the door to God knows how many people showing up in this film. I mean, guys, the book literally ends with them having a printout of, here's the people that are still loyal to you around the galaxy. And then we have, what, 10 months till the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my biggest question that came out of that is something that I brought up on the roundtable, but we got a lot of familiar names on that list from other expanded universe material, from even to the Resistance television series. But the biggest question I had is Lando on that list, and where is he? Because we're led to believe from the book that all of those people who were still loyal to Leia didn't answer her call because they couldn't, because they were imprisoned or in hiding or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And Lando didn't answer the call either, but we know he's back now. At how he comes back, and if not, then how's that going to happen? And where was he? Why didn't he answer the call?
I think there'll be something like his original intro, right? Of, oh, Lando's a guy I used to know back in the day, and then they hug and they move on. I think it might be something similarly brisk. You know, of, Lando, where have you been? He's like, oh, I had some business or blah blah blah. Like, he'll, be really smooth and suave and sexy and kind of like cast it off, and then maybe have a moment of sincerity about not being there sooner. Because it's Uncle Wanwo. I mean, to go back to Last Shot.
I was about to say he has been around in canon. I mean, he was in Last Shot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, can we and let's talk about that for a second too, because we don't have Han anymore. We don't have any new scenes with Leia, because of the use of the Episode 7 footage, right? So we have potential for Kylo Ren to have scenes with Lando and Kylo to have scenes with Chewie, as far as people from his past. Do you think we get any of those?
Yes to Chewie, no to Lando, just because if you didn't read Last Shot, that relationship is pretty non-existent.
Great point.
For
Great
you,
point.
As a viewer. But Chewie, I think that's got to happen. The last time they were relatively face-to-face, Chewie shot that man in the stomach.
Mm-hmm.
So there's got to be a chapter 2 to that one.
Agreed. Corey?
that's so hard to say. I'm not a speculator, man. I don't like to put my money on anything ever when it comes to Star Wars, because the creative directions that they take are not predictable.
Nope.
Sometimes not in a good way. Sometimes
Right.
you kind of wish they were a little predictable, like getting a scene between Chewie and Kylo Ren. But at the end of the day, I quite frankly don't see them using time to do things like that in the film. So I really
there's
don't
a
know the
lot of
answer
ground
to
they got to
that.
cover. It's true.
But I agree. I don't think we'll see a Lando interaction with Kylo Ren that has any substance to it, because I agree that it might be it's too EU to really make sense to be on screen, I think.
Yeah. And I think at the end of this podcast, not that we're getting near the end, but I think at the end of the day, rather, what we want to say as as a Canon EU podcast, hilariously enough, is to not go into this film too tied to the EU, right?
That's right.
And
yeah,
the thing
the
is,
expanded universe expands on the films. The films
Yes.
do not expand on the books. It's
That's
not
a
work
great-
that way. It does not work that way.
yes, exactly. At the end of the day, the films will put in what they need to tell the story. And if they do not put in these little Easter eggs we've talked about up from the books, it does not mean they don't care about the books. It does not mean the books don't matter. It just means in that particular medium, those aren't conducive for the storytelling, right?
Absolutely.
That's all. That's all it is. So we would love to see stuff from Black Spire, from Spark of the Resistance, from the Allegiance comic, from Resistance Reborn. Absolutely. That'd be super cool and super fun. Will it destroy us if it doesn't happen? Absolutely not.
No.
One more thing I want to say real quick. You'll notice that Force Collector is conspicuously absent from this list that we made, and that's because, frankly, it doesn't really tie into the Rise of Skywalker a lot. Carr goes to one of the planets that we know is coming up in the Rise of Skywalker for a hot second in the book. He looks over the legacy of the Jedi, but as far as stuff that's going to affect the movie, I didn't see anything as I read it that I think will tie in. So just wanted to mention that because it does have the Journey to the Rise of Skywalker banner on it. Personally, I don't think it needed it.
Yeah.
But
no,
who
I
knows?
didn't.
We could
There's
see it
always-
on Thursday and be totally wrong.
There's always at least one book, I think, in the Journey series that does not have anything to do with the films. Lost
Yeah.
Stars was the Journey to Force Awakens, I think, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. and
But the
that's-
Battle of Jakku, but that's about it.
Yeah, very vague.
All right, boys. Before we wrap on up here, I know we're not speculative, and we've done way more speculating here than we honestly will ever do, listeners. We apologize profusely. But before we go into our screening on Thursday night, what is one thing, if you had to put money down, right? You had to throw all your credits down at the casino. What would you put money down on happening in this film?
Are we talking like little subtle things?
Little-
are we
like-
talking
like a-
are we talking like hard hitting points?
No, like a little thing. Let's
Okay.
not get near the main plot about stuff. Let's just do
Because
like,
if I'm
what's
putting
a
if I'm
little
putting money
thing?
on it, then I'm putting it on hard stuff that's obviously going to be in the film, like Bendemption.
All right.
But if
So
we're talking
let's
like
do just for the purposes of our podcast, our EU podcast.
okay,
What's the most likely thing?
I know that they don't have Leia footage. I mean, they have Leia footage. They don't have any new Leia footage, obviously, because of Carrie Fisher. May she rest in peace. But I
Yep.
think we're going to see. I think we're going to see it done in a really creative way. A semi-formal handoff between her to Poe. I think with the Resistance, and I don't know how the hell they're going to do that with footage, but like. I've seen some of the behind-the-scenes stuff where they've talked about writing it, and they essentially what's that called? Like when you write, it's called something when you write around existing.
Yeah, when you're writing around existing footage.
Yes, that's what they did, and they wrote the script so it would fit the footage that they had, not the other way around. So
Yeah. And JJ specifically called it a gift from Carrie.
yes, so I really think it's going to fit nicely into the current era in which the Resistance has been really hurt, and I think like whatever the friggin' footage they have, I think it's going to work out some way. So I think we're going to see some kind of formal handoff between those two.
All right, Charles.
Yeah, I mean, part of me just wants to go for the heavy hitting stuff, which who knows? I'm not guaranteeing any of this, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say either Poe, Finn, or Rey is going to die. Not all three make it through the film.
Ooh, okay.
If I'm just putting
Oof.
money on something awesome that I want to happen, I want to see Babu Frick riding on BB-8's head as he rolls along.
Perfect.
That's my guarantee. We will see that happen.
All right. Love it. I'm gonna go simple. Wedge. I think Wedge is in the film.
Really?
Yep, that'll be
Boom.
mine.
That'd be
Again,
fascinating.
I won't be disheartened, but I think that's gonna be my thing. But
Yeah.
regardless, listeners,
Let's talk about some of the crazy stuff real fast. We never ever
Ooh.
speculate on this show. This is like not what we do at all.
crazy stuff. Corey
Let's-
Helton.
Let's go.
I feel like
off
we
the
say
rails.
that, but we speculate like relatively often.
That's right. We do
Maybe.
speculate relatively often, but it's safe speculation. It's not like this
That's
has
true.
to be in the film, otherwise I'm going to leave the theater. Ah!
Yes, that's the thing. And we talk about that all the time. Like we do speculate some, but we're not like going to be pissed off if our speculations don't work out.
Okay. Well, on that note, I have some crazy questions.
All right.
Is Palpatine alive?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes, Palpatine is alive. And you, Corey, you are like the Minister of Magic in the Harry Potter series in regards to Voldemort. You're always like, he's not back. He's not back.
He's back!
I'm going to say yes. He is back in the flesh. I don't know how, but that's what I'm saying.
Eric?
I'm gonna say I think he never truly died. I think there's just some kind of Sith sorcery when he fell down the shaft that he's been like lying in wait. I mean, honestly, very Voldemort style of like just like he's been on low power mode like R2 in Force Awakens, and he's finally amassed enough dark energy to kind of reinvent himself. So I that's what I think.
I think that Palpatine is not back. There's no way. I think it's going to be a hologram, some sort of like maybe like the people in the Messengers in Battlefront and the old comic stuff, like with like a android kind of thing with his face
okay.
kind of in it. I don't think Palpatine is back. I think it's way too controversial creatively to do that. It has nothing to do with Star Wars canon at all. I just think it's too controversial, and I don't think they would do it. Next question: is Kylo Ren going to die?
No.
Charles?
This one is so hard.
Oh man.
Did he freeze?
Yes. I'm gonna say yes. No, I didn't freeze. My brain froze. I'm gonna say he dies. I don't know. God, what do you think?
I think that he's gonna be redeemed and then he's gonna die. I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna sacrifice himself.
I do think he'll be redeemed one way or another.
Yeah, I think that's a cool route, but part of me is like, is that too easy for him to be redeemed and then die? And like, I feel like he has to. I don't know. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna stick with no to be the voice of dissension.
All right, another one besides Kylo Ren, who we've already established is gonna die. What other character is gonna die? If one of the good guys are gonna die, who's it gonna be?
Finn.
Chewie.
I think it's gonna be Chewie.
Oh God! Don't you dare!
I think
oh no! You know what I think it's gonna be?
No.
R2.
What?
R2? I don't think they call it the droid.
Well, R2 and 3PO have seen the whole. I mean, 3PO in that trailer is definitely feeling like something's not gonna be good.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I was thinking even like bigger like than that in terms of like the human cast, but I think that idea is definitely possible. It's crazy though because it seems most likely that a droid or Chewie might die.
Mm-hmm.
Those are actually the easiest characters to bring back in any kind of subsequent material.
I really doubt
so it
they'll
sounds
kill
like a
off.
bad idea.
I know you said a minute ago you said Rey, Finn, and Poe, but I really don't think they'll kill off any of the new folks. There's too many kids that are
Probably not, but someone's got to go off the deep end on this podcast, and darn it, I'll do it if I have to.
It's gonna be you. It's gonna be you, baby.
All right, last question: How is General Leia gonna die?
She's not.
What?
I don't think that fine. That's my bold prediction. I think Leia survives.
Oh my God! Okay.
She does not. She does not survive this film.
No way.
No, I can't see that happening. How does she die though? That's also difficult, and I know we talked about this once before, but it can't be anything super personal, and they had to have had footage of this done. So I think it's going to be some kind of explosion or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe she just like gets on a boat and sails away into the afterlife, like in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know how she goes. I think she's gonna go though. I think Eric's wrong. I think she has to go.
Okay. So we all had some kind of dissenting opinion from the other two amongst those. You don't think Palpatine is coming back. Eric doesn't think Leia's gonna die, and I think one of the big three are gonna be gone.
Yeah. Interesting.
So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. I don't think there's truly anything that'll disappoint me that can happen in the film. I mean, ultimately,
as long as the storytelling is solid, which I have no doubt it will be in any way. I've said this like with almost every Star Wars film, literally every Star Wars film. Whatever I thought going in, it was so much better than what I could have imagined, because I'm not a screenwriter, I'm not a creator of Star Wars. We are lovers of Star Wars, we are commenters of Star Wars, and I could not be more excited to see what's gonna happen. And as you're watching us now, you're gonna see in a couple days. As you're listening, again, if you're an early listener, you're gonna see in a few hours. And if you're listening on Friday, this is all in the past, baby.
Man,
God.
this is hard. I'm getting nervous, guys.
Yep.
I'm legit nervous, like thinking about this movie. I'm just so nervous. Like there's so much that it has to do. There's so much riding on it. Like I know I'm gonna love it, and even if I hate it, the first time I see it, I will eventually love it because I love all Star Wars. But
Yep.
I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to force myself to love it. You know?
No, I mean, I have watched that last trailer, and not the TV spots, but that trailer, like at least once or twice a day, and it still brings me tears every time of like the music swelling and them riding the Orbax on the ship and the Falcon, like, God, guys.
I know. Yeah, I need to find some footage to watch to get me back on the hype train, because like I'm just right now I'm just all nerves.
Watch that Battlefront footage, man. I watched it with that sound in between patients in clinic, and I was like getting goosebumps. So
Nice.
I need to watch it with some sound next.
Maybe we'll do that in Aftermath.
Yeah, true. This is the last time we'll have a face-to-face hangout before we see the movie.
That's true.
Oh my
This
gosh.
is how we looked before our lives
Bittersweet.
changed. This is
Bittersweet.
But listeners, on that emotional, somber, hopeful, excited, nervous note, that's going to do it for this week's episode of The Living Force. If you're new to this show, don't forget to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Tune in every week to hear us at Utini talk about the Star Wars EU, or next week, The Rise of Skywalker. Please leave us a review on iTunes to help people find us. It really does help. And head over to utini.com for reviews, articles, and comprehensive book profiles on every single story in the Star Wars galaxy. Speaking of which, keep your eyes peeled for Queen's Peril, Thrawn Ascendancy, Chaos Rising, and The Rise of Skywalker Expanded Edition novelization, all available for pre-order now. If you're looking to buy some of those, they want to help support the show, look it up on Utini. Click the Amazon link on that book profile, and we'll get a few cents to help keep the lights on. If you'd like to help us out more directly, you can find us on patreon.com/Utini or on TeePublic, where our first wave of t-shirt designs, like I'm wearing right now, is now live. Join us on Patreon for exclusive content every month. For just $2, you can join our Jedi Initiate level, where you get early access to episodes of this show. And for $5 a month, you become a Guardian of the Wills, where you'll receive extra shows, including Legends Look Back and Bounty Hunt. If you are an Inquisitor tier or up, head over to Patreon right now to join us for Aftermath, our exclusive after-show hangout. A special thank you to Adam Dyson and Patrick Ortiz on our Jedi High Council, and Timothy Dunlap on our Alliance High Command for their amazing support. If you want your thoughts on this show, email us at livingforcepod@utini.com, tweet at us at livingforcepod, or join our Utini Discord community by going to utini.com/discord. We are on Twitter. I am at Eric Eilerson. Corey is at Doc Star Wars MD. Charles is at C. Henkel. A special thank you, as always, to Matt Davenport, our amazing editor, Freddie, our producer, and Wes, our community manager. Thank you to Corey and Charles for podcasting with me. And as always, may the Force be with you. We will see you on the other side of the Rise of Skywalker.